and welcome back to my channel. My name is Joy. I go by they them pronouns, and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about whatever I want to talk about and share more of my life with y'all. Damn, that was hard to get out today, but welcome back to the channel. Before we get started, because I can remember to do this now, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Tell your grandma, your dog, your next door neighbor, and the mailman. Okay, don't forget the very important mailman. I almost said milkman. We don't get milk delivered anymore. But as you can see by the title of this episode, we are talking about lessons I've learned by being the eldest daughter in an immigrant family. Now, before we get started with the video, just a few things we're gonna cover. First of all, the reason that it's titled The Eldest Daughter in an Immigrant Family is because that is the way that I grew up. Okay, I may go by they, them pronouns, but for any immigrant who has girls in the family, you know, the eldest daughter, it's a very specific element of growing up in an immigrant home. So that is why that's there. I'm still very much non-binary. I still very much go by they, them pronouns, but it just, there's a level of nuance. Okay, really that was like the only thing. Oh wait, no, I lied. I lied. Before we get started, I would also like, geez, let me just start. Okay, before we get started, I would also like for you guys to go ahead and follow the Blather Chronicles, which is my podcast. It's available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and anywhere else if that is where you would like, if you want me to add it somewhere else. And take a look at my website. I'm going to be promoting these heavy because these are the places that you can find everything about me. So go and do that after you subscribed, okay? Make me a part of your life, babes. Alright? Make me a part of your life. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, so before we get started, I do want to clarify some things because I don't think I've shared this on the channel. So the reason I'm making an immigrant family video is because I was in fact born in Kenya and then I moved to the US when I was 7. So yes, I am first generation and only because I don't plan on having any kids. But that is the reason I'm making this video. I do want to preface this by saying I have a decent relationship with my family, okay? This is not like some harp on my parents kind of video. And I also am just saying these things out of things that I have learned growing up, okay? Growing up as an immigrant in the South was not always the easiest thing. So I'm not really going to talk about society type of things, but mostly to do with your own relationship to your family and your own relationship to yourself as you navigate what it's like to be an adult in a relationship with your parents. Okay, so enjoy the video. Okay, all right, so the first lesson is to remember that your family is what you want it to be and that your parents are their own people. And I think one of the hardest parts of this lesson is like growing up, I always had this image of what family was to me. And I was always like, family is just, you know, these people that just love you so much that they want to do the same thing that you want to do and blah, 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 blah. Like we all get fed the white picket fence, 2.5 kids drama here in the West. That may not be what your family is like, and that is okay. I have come to appreciate the fact that my parents are their own people, like full-grown people who've had their own share of trauma, upbringing, tradition, whatever the case may be, that have molded them into their own specific people. So I am a lot more just like gracious with the fact that the way that I would want my family dynamics to be doesn't always translate into real life just because you're dealing with completely different people. I don't think that there would ever be a time when you would go and, you know, just sit with a bunch of strangers and expect them to act a certain way and then they would act that way. They're going to act accordingly to their own personalities, how they grew up, whatever. And that is something that I've had to learn with my family. And it doesn't mean that like I'm not as close to my parents as I would want to be. I don't have the relationship with them that I would want to have, not because it's not something that I don't want, but it's something that they're just not capable of in the way that I would want to. We grew up in 2 different countries, and it's just, you know, it's just what it is. Like there's no changing that. And so family only, I guess I wouldn't say, just be mindful of the fact that your family won't look the way you want it to all the time, but that's okay. Just release the pressures and the need for your family dynamics to look a certain way, and I think that will free you from a lot of the pressure of, well, you know, if my parents and I aren't close, that means that I'm bad. No, it doesn't. It just means that they're a completely separate human being who may or may not have the capacity to be able to connect with you in the way that you want them to. And that has nothing to do with you. The second thing that I've learned is that not everything is in your control. Okay? Growing up in an immigrant household, there was just specifically like an African household, there's just like this expectation as the eldest daughter that you have to be on top of everything. You have to know how to do things. You have to be in charge. You're the one that, like, if the parents aren't there, then the responsibility falls to you. And it just perpetuates this idea of I have to be in charge and I have to be on top of things, otherwise things fall apart. And you gotta unlearn that one quick. Okay? Unlearn it, unravel it, dig deep, get it out of your system, because life is gonna life whether you want it to or not. And I have just, it's taken me years, but now I know better to just roll with the punches of life and just kind of be like, all right, is it something that I can change immediately? Is there a plan that we can make? If it's completely out of my control, I'm not even worrying about it anymore. You've got to release yourself from that stress. Otherwise, it will eat you up, baby. It will eat you up from the inside, okay? Like bad. Life is not something we can control. We cannot choose whether we reach certain milestones by certain times. We cannot choose how or when you die, like things like that, you know. Just like get it off your chest for yourself. Okay, this one's a big one, but contrary to popular belief, you don't have to be the best at everything. It is okay for you to be mediocre. It's okay to be subpar. It is okay to not even be second, third, not even place at all. It is okay. There is so much pressure in just immigrant families as a whole, but especially on like the eldest daughter, to be exceptional. You must be exceptional is what you are taught growing up. You have to have the best grades. You have to be, if you're going to do anything, you have to win. You have to be the best. You have to be better than everybody. And it's just like no exception. You have to choose the biggest career. You have to make the most money. You like it takes over, and you end up living your life as if I'm not the best, then what I did wasn't worth it. And that is not true, babes. It's not true. It's not true. Okay. If you are to, like, you know, if you are on a track team, for instance, like I was, and I just wasn't very good at it. It just was not my thing. I feel like people are like, oh, you're Kenyan, you should be able to run. If I wanted to, but I didn't want to, so I didn't put any energy into it. But there was just like this expectation of, if you're going to do something, be the best. And so me being so subpar was just kind of like shameful almost. You know, people are just, you know, like it was just a point of shame. But now that I am older, I'm so glad I didn't push myself, because I wouldn't have had any more fun. I had fun just diddling around and running sometimes. Like sometimes I ran, and sometimes I just didn't care to. And I feel like if we take that sort of mentality and move through life is just so much easier. Like, do not force yourself to be the best. Sometimes the most fun you have doing something is just in the action of doing, not in the action of winning. Like, personally, I have done so many things where I'm like, God, I sucked at that, but I was happy doing it, and that was the purpose of me doing it. So if you suck at something, that's okay. You don't have to be the best. Contrary to popular belief. And by popular belief, I mean our immigrant parents who told us that if we weren't the best, then we weren't worth living. Because that was very dramatic of them. It's okay. Going up our last point, make sure to define success for yourself. Okay, if you did not end up being a doctor, if you did not end up being an astronaut, if you did not end up with a PhD, if you did not end up buying your family home and also setting your parents up for the rest of their lives at 22, if you did not end up buying a home at 19, all of these ridiculous things that are just put on us as, you know, trying to reach the American dream, if you did not accomplish these things, it is okay. It is okay. I cannot stress this enough. It is okay. You get to define success for yourself. Okay, you get to define, this is what a successful life looks like for me. If a successful life for you looks like I'm able to pay rent and I'm able to go out with my friends and I'm able to learn a new language and spend time at home with my cat, that's it. No more discussion. There is no more conversation after you have defined what success looks like for you. Nobody else gets to put in any, and you need to do that. No. And I think the scariest part of the fact that what your life looks like and what success looks like for you is up to you is the fact that sometimes other people are not going to be happy. And it's even worse when it's your parents who are just like, you know, jipping and jabbing about, oh, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Do you think these tattoos were appreciated by my mother? My mother did not like them. But my mother is also not me. I get to decide whether or not I have tattoos, piercings, whether or not me, you know, moving to, I don't know. What's a place that's like really out there that people don't go to? I don't know. If I decided to move to Botswana, okay, and live there, and my mom didn't want me to, I would still go. Okay, if I decided that I wanted to move to Guatemala and my mom was like, no, I would still go. Okay, at a certain point, you have to decide that what you want is worth more than the opinions of other people. And this goes back to my first point, where your parents are their own separate human beings, right? They have fed and clothed you. Now you're like, you know, a full functioning human adult. You have bodily autonomy. You can go and do whatever you want, and their decision is no longer impacting you. Like you have to separate that, because for the longest time I was like, well, you know, my parents aren't going to be happy with this, I'm just not going to do it. Now I am not coming, like I am not I'm not committing harm to myself. I am not committing harm to others. I am not doing anything illegal. It's getting done. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. But you have to separate the idea of like, if my mom doesn't want me to do it, then I'm just not going to do it. No. Do it. Do it. Have a good time. Enjoy your life, because at the end of the day, your parents are not living your life. You are living your life. And what are you going to do? Be miserable? And then your parents die, and then you're going to be like, so glad I didn't do anything I loved or wanted to do when I was younger, and now I'm middle-aged and miserable. That sounds like a horrifying existence, okay? Just to the best of your ability, and this is hard, which is why I'm laughing, because I know the implications, baby. I've been there, I know. But you have to set boundaries, okay? Say it slowly, say it with me now. Boundaries with your parents. You just have to be able to let them know, you know, I appreciate your opinion. I appreciate the fact that you're looking out for me. I appreciate that you love and care for me. The way you're showing it, however, is not conducive to building a relationship with me as an adult. And so I'm going to need you to not comment on the choices that I make in a negative manner. Okay? Especially when these are just like aesthetic choices about your life. Like if you're in bed with a serial killer and your mom says this is a bad idea, maybe listen. But if you're getting nipple piercings and your mom's like, that's a horrible idea, maybe just get the nipple piercings, and if you like them, you like them. There's an idea. But trust me, I know it's hard. I've been where you're at. So if this takes a little bit longer and it's very uncomfortable, that's okay. Just make sure that you do not throw away your life in an attempt to make someone who is already living theirs happy. Okay? Because one day we're all gonna die, and I don't want you to be on your deathbed resentful. That's all I'm saying. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you came away with some sort of, what's the word? I guess information, some new knowledge, okay? Some actionable things you can do when it comes to your family. Please subscribe to this channel, alright? Because I'll be here. I have no idea what's happening to me today. I'm also filming this when I'm very hungry and I've been working all day, but it's because I have to get ahead on something, so I'm struggling. I would love to hear from you guys, so please in the comments let me know, are you from an immigrant family? Are you the firstborn daughter in an immigrant family? What has been your experience? If you're not from an immigrant family, or you're not the firstborn daughter or anything like that, just tell me what you found interesting, okay? Just put some stuff in the comments. If you've made it to the end of this video, I love you so much. Thank you. And I'm going to see you guys next week with another video. Bye!